Welcome to a Healthy Push podcast. I'm Shannon Jackson, former anxiety sufferer turned adventure mom and anxiety recovery coach. I struggled with anxiety, panic disorder, and agoraphobia for 15 years. And now I help people to push past the stuff that I used to struggle with. Each week, I'll be sharing real and honest conversations along with actionable and practical steps that you can take to help you push past your anxious thoughts, the symptoms, panic, and fears. Welcome. You're right where you're meant to be. All right, let's talk about something that I used to struggle with immensely and is something I know many people struggle with because it's often a topic of conversation in my one-on-one sessions with my clients and my students. So it's all about wishing to go back to the old version of you, the you before the person who began struggling with anxiety and panic. Or maybe for you, it's more, I just wish I was somebody else. I wish I was anyone who did not struggle with anxiety, panic, and agoraphobia. So often people will say to me, Shannon, I just miss the old me. Like I miss the me who used to be able to do things without having these thoughts and the panic attacks and the fear. And trust me, I get it. Like when I was struggling, I used to feel so much anger and frustration and sadness when I would think about all the things that I used to be able to do with so much peace and ease. Like I would think, how the heck did I get here? Like how did things get this bad? I used to be able to leave the house and go anywhere and do anything without struggling with all this stuff. And I would have never imagined, right, that stepping outside of my house, getting into cars, going into stores, going to work, sitting in classrooms and meetings and all these things would be so hard and almost unbearable. But that had become my reality. And I can remember literally sitting in my car, like driving to work and just looking around and looking at other people and thinking, I just want to be that person. Like they look so calm, they look so happy. And I honestly thought this all the time and about everyone. And I did this as if nobody else were struggling with anything, right? Like I'd also compare myself to perfect strangers and say, how is all of this stuff so easy for them? Like how can they do this stuff? And of course, everyone I was comparing myself to wasn't struggling with the things that I was struggling with, or even struggling at all in my mind, right? And I also remember saying to my mom so many times, like, I just want to go back to when things weren't like this. But in reality, I knew I didn't want to go back to the quote old me because I honestly didn't even really remember a time when my relationship with anxiety wasn't messed up. Like I have so many early memories of anxiety and some really hard ones and moments of panic attacks and just not understanding what was going on and what to do. And I know you can probably relate, right? And I think this is true for so many of us. Like we often fantasize about what the old versions of ourselves actually looked like. And we often make it seem so much greater than it was. Like I know I did this. And the reason why we do this is because really anything seems better than what we're currently struggling with. Like when we're in something that is incredibly hard, anything else looks better. And really, I had to get honest with myself and say, Shannon, like your relationship with anxiety has never really looked great. Like, and there are reasons, and that's okay. And these are things that you can heal from. And of course, fantasizing about the past and not being honest with myself, these things only keep you stuck, right? And they will prevent you from looking at the things that you actually need to look at and taking the actions that you actually need to take that will help you to heal. So I know you might think and feel as though you want to go back. And I know you think and feel as though maybe you wish you were somebody else. And it's because what you're struggling with right now is really hard. But you don't actually want to go back and be the you from months ago or years ago. And you don't really want to be another person. You just don't want to struggle anymore. And it makes sense. But how we no longer struggle isn't by going back. It's by being present, staying present with ourselves right now, and by focusing on the steps we're taking today to heal. the steps that will actually help us to live how we want to live and feel how we want to feel in the present day and for the days to come. And this work and these steps are the things that I talk so often about here, right? And on my Instagram platform and in my weekly emails that I share. And I just want to share a few things now, but what this work is, what the steps are, actually, validating, making space for what you're currently struggling with, like acknowledging it is actually really hard. And I gotta stop comparing myself to people around me, and I've gotta stop comparing myself to the quote old me. And I really have to accept where I'm at. And I have to allow myself to be with myself, with my struggles right now. And it's okay. Accepting where you're at and accepting that you're struggling, those things actually help you move forward. They don't keep you stuck. And you can accept and acknowledge these things. And I promise you, it's going to help you to actually take the steps to move forward. So I know it's probably incredibly annoying, but you know how I always say, take the healthy steps. I always encourage, take the healthy steps, because this is truly where the magic lies, like focusing on the present, on the actions you can take right now. Okay, so now I want to segue a little bit, and I want to get into a couple of really strong, insightful reasons as to why you don't actually want to go back, which I really hope helps you to see things in a different way. And I hope these things help you to continue to move forward and to leave the past in the past. So this first one is probably going to be hard to hear, but I always keep it honest because you need the honesty and you need to be honest with yourself. So the first one, and is a big truth, if you go back to this old version of you, you're going to keep running into the same issues again and again. You're going to continue to struggle with the anxious thoughts, the anxious feelings, the panic attacks, all of the hard stuff. Because the truth is, and I know this is hard to hear, but the old you kind of got you here. And I'm not saying it's your fault or you intentionally did anything, but the old you probably wasn't aware, right? You probably didn't have the knowledge that you hopefully have now. You maybe weren't taught how to have a healthy relationship with your emotions. You weren't taught how to make space for anxiety and how to let it be here and how to respond to it. And the old you was probably running from some things rather than facing things. And the old you maybe wasn't taking care of yourself. And this was true for me. The old me was a bit of a hot mess, like a hot mess who had a lot of unhealthy actions and behaviors and wasn't treating myself well and just wasn't simply taking care of myself. So it's really helpful to recognize that going back is not the answer. It's not a solution, and it's not actually going to fix things. If you go back, you're just going to run into the same things over and over because that old you was on autopilot. You lacked awareness, you lacked knowledge and skills. And I know that where you are right now is hard, but it's actually better than where you were. You're here with me, and that shows me that you're actually committed to not going back. So we're not going back, and you have to remember the healing can only happen in the now. Okay, let's talk about the next one, which is a big truth bomb. Your desire to go back is based on all of this stuff that you used to be able to do or on how you used to feel. But the truth is, anxiety hasn't stolen any of that from you. I know it feels like it has, especially in the really hard moments, but it hasn't. All of your strengths, your capabilities, all of those amazing parts of you, they're still within you. And the things you once did without anxiety and panic being present and at the forefront, you'll do them again with peace and with ease. And it just takes action and effort to do these things again, I promise. Because the beautiful part about healing, doing any sort of healing work, is that it's really just uncovering the you that is already there. And another thing that I want to mention is that the fact that you used to be able to do so much, right, without anxiety and panic being at the forefront or even being present, only shows me that you are capable of all of that stuff and then some. Anxiety truly hasn't changed those parts of you. It hasn't taken that stuff away. It's still there. It's just a little hidden. And that's why I always encourage you've got to keep taking the small, healthy steps. They are actually leading to healing, even when they don't feel like it. Okay, the last one, and it's such a truth bomb. What you're going through right now, as much as it sucks, it is teaching you so much. And what you're learning right now are things that you're going to use for the rest of your life. Like so much of what I learned when I was working to recover from anxiety truly helps me in my day-to-day life even now. Like all of the tools, all of the skills, all of the little pieces of insights and wisdom, they help me so much in my day-to-day with other emotions and other things and challenges and hardships. All of this stuff is going to apply and help you. Like I now know what to do with feelings of anxiety. I now have a much greater tolerance for facing fears. I know how to push myself in so many healthy ways. I know how to truly take care of my mind and my body. Like these are things that I wouldn't trade for anything. So let your current struggles teach you what you need to learn. Let them help to shine this light in areas that you need the light shown on and you need to learn. And acknowledge that this growth, this hard growth, these challenges that you're facing, this discomfort is leading you to goodness. Like it is leading you to actually stepping into a much more peaceful, happier, more amazing version of yourself. So I just have to share, with this, so many of my students and clients will say, and I know you've heard them say this on the podcast, because I'm like, dang it, people are going to think I pay people to say this, but I promise I don't. People will say so often, Shannon, I am so grateful that I went through this because it taught me so much. And it makes me so emotional because I know right now you might not get this, but I feel the same way, although so many layers of my soul would have preferred not to have gone through what I went through. It taught me so much about myself and about others and life, and most importantly, how to actually live. Like I wasn't living before. I didn't know how to live before. And all of the things that I learned throughout all the pain and the challenges that I went through helped me to live this beautiful life that I'm living today. A life that truly I never thought that I was capable of living. But now I know it's truly limitless. Like I don't even think I have touched the surface of what I'm capable of. And that makes me so dang excited. And emotional. Obviously, you can hear it in my voice. So truly, I want you to hear me. The best life, the best version of you is right now. Like I know the pain, the struggles, the things that you're going through and facing, I know it sucks. But the aware you, the healing you, the version of you that is actually breaking unhealthy patterns and behaviors and won't keep falling into them, like this is the greatest version. And this is the version of you that is going to lead to an even better version of you, to like the most capable you. So I really want you to do yourself a massive favor, and I want you to throw away the idea that the old version of you, the one who didn't struggle with the anxiety, the panic, the agoraphobia, is the best version of you. The old you has nothing on the present and the future you. So give yourself permission to be where you're at right now. Like, let that be okay for now. And keep choosing to move forward with the you right now. Because you're pretty stinking amazing. So until next time, my friend, keep living in the present and keep taking healthy action.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of A Healthy Push. If you want more, head on over to ahealthypush.com for the show notes and lots more tips, tools, and inspiration that will support your recovery. And if you're hoping for me to cover a certain topic, be sure to join my Instagram community at A Healthy Push and let me know in the comments what you want to hear next.